evening. What a depressing week it's been. Middlesbrough. I didn't do a review for Middlesbrough. Not because I didn't want to. Not that I got face and I don't like that, but Easter weekend, so I've been out for a walk with family. Didn't see game. Got back, saw the result. Oh, heck, watched highlights, 2-minute highlights. And I'm one of them, me. Bit of a mardy ass, maybe. I won't talk about it unless I've seen it. So then I thought, no, if I'm going to talk about it, because people were going off alarming, worst performance of all time, several players should be shot at dawn, several players should be shot before dawn, they don't even deserve that waiting period, you know what I mean? So I thought, I've got to see this. So I watched game back, full game, and that's an experience, isn't it? Watching a game back in full when you know that you're going to lose, So I watched it back. And I still didn't do a review, not because I didn't want to, because, honestly, I've got all my notes here, pages and pages of him. Do you know what I mean? There's loads. I could talk about that Middlesbrough game all day. There's tons. But by then I thought, well, it's a bit after the event now. It's like 24 hours after. Nobody wants to talk about a game, where we've got pasted and what have you. So I wrote them down, didn't do it. But then there has been a massive backlash about the performance, and understandably so, because it was a poor performance. Although I've got to be honest with you, when I'm watching it back, first 20 minutes, I don't think we were that bad. I didn't, honestly. I think after the event, the 90 minutes also that gets lumped together has been terrible. First 20, I didn't think we were that bad. Very open, but I thought they were open as well. For me, it's all about that second half, really. The first goal, obviously, set piece. Is it off their lad? Is it off your head? It don't really matter. The point is, he stood there, kid, never moves. He literally just stands there. And when a corner's coming in box, everyone's scrabbling for position. He literally don't move. He just stands there. It comes in. Oh, it's in. Zonal marking. Some people are, zonal marking, wank. To me, it looks like halfway out, because some players are getting picked up. Some of them are getting marked. And some of them aren't. Obviously, some people are marking areas. He's taking front stick area. He's taking back stick area. So the thing is this, though, whether it's man-to-man marking or zonal marking or a hybrid of both, the fact remains that when that ball comes in box, there is a stage in its flight path when you know it's coming somewhere near you where you've got to be like, I'm going to go and get that. Or if you're man-to-man, fuck him, I'm going to go and head that. Or I'm going to go and get my foot to that. I think we're that busy with this all the time. Oh. The ball. The ball is the main thing. Football. Whether it's open play, set piece, the main thing is the ball. Can you get to the ball? Can you affect the ball? Fucking... Anyway... I said this weren't going to be a review. This is meant to be this is the week that was, sort of thing. But anyway, I didn't think we were that bad for the first 20-second. And I've seen players getting slagged. I've seen people get rankings, don't they? I've seen Firmino get 1 out of 10 from somebody this week. 1 out of 10? Really? I know it's a shit performance. I know we've conceded to it. Watch that game back and just watch him for 90 minutes. That's not a 1 out of 10 performance. It's not a great performance. It's maybe a 5 out of 10. It's not a 1 out of 10. We get carried away with defeats. And that's the thing. You shouldn't get carried away with wins. You shouldn't get carried away with defeats. It's not an end of the world performance. It's shit. But it's not end of the world. And individually, and it's a thing that we do as humans, we tend to look at individuals. So I've seen Firmino getting slagged. I've seen Bannon getting slagged. If you look at them individually, what they did, not brilliant, not worst performances I've ever seen. I saw some worse performances that last season from individuals when we got promoted. the issue with this Middlesbrough game, for me, is that it weren't a team performance. Yes, there were some poor individual displays within that, but as a collective we were poor, and that it's a team game. You know, it's not golf or snooker or darts. It's a team game. You want 11 players pulling in the right direction, and I think that's the thing that stood out for me, was that there was a lack of cohesion. There was no flow to what we were doing. So yes, there was some shit passing, but equally, were the passes looking worse because people weren't moving into the right areas to receive the ball? Were people knocking the ball into feet, but the kid they're trying to hit it to was running the other way, running away from the ball? So it were little things like that. And similarly, when we were defending, you've got defenders a unit. He's going in there, I'll get touch tight to this kid. We would all have it, sure. One kid's airing back to get a foot in, other people are jogging, some people are not even picking anybody up. And that was the thing to me. There was a lack of togetherness as a team unit in what we were doing. Even down to basic things like, and it's stuff you learn when you're in under 10s, like even when you're playing for school. The absolute bare minimum, wherever the ball is on the pitch, as a team you're moving across. So if their right back's got the ball and he's advancing that pitch, as a back four, as a midfield four or a midfield three or whatever system you play, everybody moves across. Okay, that's obviously a right back is aware in case a big diagonal comes. He's got to be aware to, right, I'll shuttle out there if they switch it. But you're going across. There weren't even any of that. You know, we've got like left back going across, right back still miles out there with huge gaps for them to play through, which I think were probably highlighted by the fact that, you know, they got Johnny Howson playing for them. You know, he's a decent player, going back to his Leeds days, even decent footballer. But he's having to play it back for them. They've got a bit of an injury crisis. He's spraying ball about like fucking Franz Beckenbauer, under no pressure. And it's that lack of connectivity, if you like. And I've talked about this before under Darren Moore, and not just under Darren Moore, in fact, probably the modern game, if we like, because we're chopping and changing out. We were looking at players' levels of fitness and fatigue, and he's about 90%, we'll give him a week off, you know. I mean, it's 70s, oh, he's about 30%, oh, good, he can start, do you know what I mean? But if you're playing with the same partner every week, you know what they're going to do, and I've said this in videos for the last 2 or 3 years. If you're in middle at Park, where I used to play, if you're playing with the same kid every week, he knows where you want ball, he knows when you're going to go and try and make an extra man in box, he knows that if he goes out there, you're going to sweep him behind it, because you understand each other, you play every week. When you've got a different partner every week, whether it's at centre half, or centre midfield, or centre forward, you get that little understanding. Oh, I know what he likes to do here. Oh, I know where he's going to go in that situation. When you're chopping and changing all the time, so there's that. But yeah, generally just a lack of cohesion as a team. You know, other week Swansea. That's another thing. I've seen this system getting slagged off, and I'm not a big fan of two in middle missing. You know, I don't think in this age, with the players that we've got, we can particularly sort of get away with it. But against Swansea it worked because of the way the front three dropped in. I talked about it in video. If you haven't seen it, have a look at it. The way the front three dropped in front of Palmer and Volks, it sort of gave us a little 5 and it forced Swansea to go out edges. So, you know, I don't like it, but it can work. Against Middlesbrough, we were wide open. That two in there were getting totally exposed. And I've seen Bannon getting slagged, I've seen Volks getting slagged, you know, but when you've got 3 or 4 players around you, passing it round you, you can run around like a blue-ass fly if you want, but you're still not going to affect anything. I mean, it's basic physics. Listen, I left school with no qualifications, don't worry about that, but the basic rules of physics is this. I know that you can kick a ball quicker than somebody can run. If I got the same bolt at the bottom of my garden now, sat by its shed, and I said, right, there's going to be a race to our back door, on whistle, and Bolt sets off, I know I can twat a football, it'll get to our back door before he gets there. Because you can kick a ball quicker than a man can run. So when it's 4 against 2 in there, and they're zipping it about, you've got no fucking chance. So, you know, we're slagging Bannon and Volks off in there. And Bannon, by the way, no, he didn't have a great game, Bannon. Oh, did have a good game, by the way. I think Bannon with the least of our issues on Saturday. Least of our issues. But look at the second goal. He's absolutely bust his bollocks to get back in. Well, there's probably an argument. He's bust his bollocks that hard. He might have played one of their kids on side. But he's bust his bollocks to get in. And that's about attitude. And that's where I thought we were lacking on weekend. Attitude. Attitude. Is that the right word? Attitude. Got to be careful with words, aren't you? You know. That's where spelling comes from, isn't it? Cast a spell, spelling. You've got to be very careful with words because they can paint pictures and create scenarios. So I don't know if attitude's the right word. If we talk about attitude, people are saying, oh, a player's got a good attitude or he's got a bad attitude. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I think it's more to do with personality is probably a better way to describe what sort of personality he's got. Because some people have got that personality that they're offended if a man beats them. And they'll work the bollocks off to win ball back. Some people, they get beaten. No, well, somebody else's job now. But that's less an attitude as a personality trait. I'm probably splitting hairs here, but fuck you know. Where was I? Middlesbrough game. Yeah. I didn't think we were that bad individually. As I said, I think it's team collective that's let us down there and the individual personalities within that. What I did want to talk about though is more than the game is the reaction to the game. Danny Rull come out, I don't know if you've seen interview, that's the first time we've really sort of seen Danny Rull look angry. I mean, since he's been here, he joined a shit show, got some results, got some bad results as well, and he's always held his hands up and maybe I've not got this right, maybe I've not got that right. And he's always stuck up for his players, which is something you see a lot in modern game. I think some of that's personality, that modern players, I think it was Ferguson said maybe a year before he retired, you know, you can't get a player a bollocking these days because they're that fragile that they crumble if you give them constructive criticism. So bollocking's completely out of question, you know. So there's a little bit of that. And of course, Danny's got to be careful because when you're down at this end of the table, confidence of the team as a whole will be fragile. So you've got to be careful there. So he has protected his players in the most part. The other side of coming out and having a pop at your players, again, a modern sort of thing is that it can end up costing manager because player power now, you know, players can dictate when a manager gets sacked or not. They can. I mean, you look at Mourinho's second spell at Chelsea when Hazard all but went on strike on the fucking pitch. I mean, I would have took him out and shot him. Horrific for Chelsea, and then they went out for Belgium and somehow looked shit up, and Mourinho must have been thinking, you little shithouse, you know what I mean? So you've got to be careful. So for Danny to come out and say the things he said about players having to go out and show responsibility, they're knocking on his door thinking they should start and this and other, he must be at the end of his tether with what he's seeing on park to do that, because it's not in his sort of personality from what we've seen so far. And as I said, it's a dangerous thing for players to get called out by the manager in public. In modern day and age, it doesn't tend to work. I think the advantage he's got in that sense is that he's a manager on the up. You know, he's a manager whose star is bright at the moment, and I think the club will be well aware what they've got in him. So any players who go knocking on chairman's door or whatever, I don't think it'll be affecting Danny in that sense, that player power might get him out. Not saying the players want him out, by the way, because that's the other thing about him. The reverse effect of this is that it could have a positive. Obviously, you get slagged off by your manager if you're a mardy ass. You know, I'm not playing for that bastard. But he does seem to have got him on side, and that's been from day one. So I think the fact that they know him, they've built a relationship with him, they all talk about him in very high sort of regard. The fact that he's come out and said that, hopefully, will put into the dressing room a little bit that sense of, oh, fucking hell, we've let this bloke down here. You know, we're saying how great he is, and you know, he's out there facing it up. And, you know, now he's telling the world we've let him down. So, look, it's time to look in the mirror, innit? You know what I mean? I'm hoping there's a positive to come from it. And it'll be interesting to see response. And this is where, like I said, it goes back to player personality. Like I said, not like using that word attitudes, connotations, but it'll be interesting to see who steps at plate now. You know, because when you've been slagged off, there's two ways to respond, isn't there? You know, you get out there and show what you are about. You get out there to show willing, if you like, and make it up to the person that you've let down. Or you can go out there and just go half-arsed and have lip on. And I think we'll see that against QPR. I think we'll see who's got the personality to say, yeah, he's right here. We've let him down, but we've let ourselves down and all. Should he have come out and said it? Like I said, it's not a common thing these days, but he looked agitated, didn't he? In that interview, he's all over the place. You know, you could see he was really agitated. He's 34-year-old, you know. I think if he's 64-year-old, he probably don't do that. You know, if you look at Wenger, he backed his players to ill every bloody week. They were committing atrocities on opposition forwards, weren't they? Didn't see it. I didn't see it. Always stuck up for them. You know, they probably had a round of fucks behind the scenes, but he always stuck up for them. That's experience, isn't it? You know, when you're young, full of enthusiasm and passion, and it starts to get to you, and it clearly has got to him this weekend. Sometimes you say things that, in hindsight, you think, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. But he said it now, and like I said, the interesting thing will be the response from the players. And I'm hopeful that it might be a kick-up arse. You know, we've had a couple of bad results. I didn't think we played badly against Swansea, to be honest with you. Bit profligate in front of goal, but the performance thought okay. Against Middlesbrough, what upset me about the Middlesbrough performance was, like I said, it was about desire, really. It was about personal pride, you know. If somebody gets past you, and this is what I talk about personality, if somebody gets past you, it's got to offend you. So that bastard, you've got to work your bollocks off to get back in and get a foot in and get a tackling or win an header. And this is where I go back. I know I've had people joke in comments on these videos about me being a Callum Patterson fanboy. But Callum Patterson's got what I'm talking about. He's got that personality that if somebody beats him, fucking that wanker, I'm not going to let him do that again. You've got to have 11 like that. You know, it don't matter how good you are on ball. If you've not got heart, you've got no chance. And even when you look at best players in the world, you look at Messi and Ronaldo and Chiesa, they've had fantastic footballers, great technicians, or whatever you want to call them. But they've got heart. They've got huge heart and passion and desire for the game, and to be the best that they can be, and not to be outdone by the opponent, whether they're playing for bottom at league or top at league clash. They treat them games equally. That bastard is not getting the better of me. And you've got to be like that week in, week out. Yeah, I'm hoping it works. I think Danny must have been at the end of his tether to say what he said. And it might be what's needed, because I still come back to this, me, that you can train all week. You can have as many analysts in there as you want and coaches in there as well. And you can give players everything that they need to be good players. You can get best facilities, you can get best coaching, you can sit down and have everything analysed on the screen, you can give them best diets and best conditioning and all that. You can give them all that. But you know, you've also got to have what's inside. You've got to have a soul. You've got to give your heart and your soul to get a result sometimes. And that's what drives it. You know, you've got to have game intelligence, of course you have, but you've got to have that passion inside you to be the best that you can possibly be. You know, they can put you on any diet that they want. They can have you doing plyometric training or whatever it is to get your body in peak physical condition so that every single metric that you could physically be the best that you can be is there. But if you ain't got a heart, if you ain't got a heart for battle, it don't mean anything. You can be the fittest player in the world, but if you ain't got the heart to chase back when you lose the ball, it don't fucking mean anything. It don't mean anything. I mean, I'm 48 years old next week. You could give me all best training in the world, you could probably shave 2 stone off me and make me 10 yards quicker. But without bollocks, it don't mean anything. You've got to have bollocks for a scrap. And I think that was the most disappointing thing I thought for me about that Middlesbrough game, is that they didn't seem to be any bollocks. You know, I will be fair, they've took a slagging, all 3 of them, Bambo, Hekwe and Firmail, but they were blocking stuff. They were putting the bollocks on. I think they can all get back if a bloody second goal, by the way. That's almost by the by. But first half, there was a spell in that game, I would say 55 to maybe 70 minutes. It was like the fucking Alamo back there. And they were getting their head on things, their knees, their bollocks, their arses, chucking themselves in front. So everybody's got to do that. Everybody's got to do that. And they've got to do that for 90 minutes. And like I said, it's a cliche that you've got to have heart and soul and bollocks. But it's true. It really is true. It was a disappointing performance. It'll be interesting to see the response to what Danny said. I think it might be good for them. Because when a manager comes out and calls you out like that, is it a good thing, is it a bad thing? But the fans always think it's a good thing. The fans think it's a good thing because that is what they're thinking. Fucking this shower, I've paid X amount, I've come up fucking way up here. And So when a manager says something that strikes a note with them, fans are like, good, I'm glad he's slagging the bastards off, you know. So fans, I think, often think it's good in that sense. Is it good in dressing room? Well, as I said, it can backfire. Higher up you go, Premier League, international level, it can cost managers their jobs because of player power. I don't think that'll be in play here. But where I'm thinking it might be a positive thing is, if they've been slated by Gaffer in press like that, there's bound to be some of them who's got a bit of chirp, who next day when they're in at training, won't be able to help them. That's a bit fucking out of order, Gaffer. And I hope they do, because when they do that, that opens the door for Gaffer to say, well, I'll tell you why I've said that. Okay, this, and this. And it clears air. And because sometimes when you've got a Gaffer and he's coming out and he's sticking up for players all the time, and he has done that since he's come in, and I understand he's had to do that because brittle confidence, when your players are at the bottom of the table, see, the first thing you do when you come as a new manager, you try and lift them. You've got to try and lift the spirit. So, and I think he's tried to do that. But eventually, even he's, no, this is unacceptable. So I hope they have chirped at him, because if they have chirped at him, he'll be able to tell them exactly what he thinks with far more detail than obviously he's going to give the fans or the press. And it clears the air then, because like I said, things can simmer. Things can be simmering. He's probably seen things for the last 3 or 4 weeks that's pissed him off. And his answer to it will be, let's get on training pitch and I'll try and iron these little creases out of him. But the fact he's come out and told it bluntly like that, good. Because sometimes, even if you're not at top of tree, even if you're not at top of table, even if you're down where we are, people still find a comfort zone. Players do, and that's any walk of life in any job really. People will, you know, whether you're top of tree or bottom of tree, people will find a comfort level and slot into it. So I'm hopeful that this might clear air, might get players a kick up arse. And if it doesn't bring a kick up arse in what you'd call the positive way, that they're going to go out there, sorry Gaffer, I'm going to do my best for you. Some of them it'll give them a kick up arse in the other sense that they're going to think, this bastard, I'll fucking show him. I'll show him, and I'll get a move away in summer, whatever it is. Don't matter. It don't matter what their reasons are for going out and giving more against QPR, as long as they're going out and giving more against QPR. QPR, you know. I thought we'd get something at Boro. I know. But I did. I saw their form. I saw the number of players they got out injured. And although our away form hadn't been good this season, I thought, we're on here. We're on. I didn't think we'd smash them. I don't like that, don't get me wrong. And I'd have probably took a 0-0, you know, and sort of before it came, I was like, yeah, that'd be a decent result. But I'd got that part in me that I genuinely thought we can go there and nick a 1-0. And I genuinely believed that. QPR, another away. I've been saying to mates, you know, for the last couple of weeks, for me, this is biggest week of the season, even before Middlesbrough and Swansea. QPR, Norwich, Stoke. You've got to take 6 from that 9 points. You know, in my eyes, that way, and I know QPR's in good form, but I still believe they're beatable, as I did with Boro. And I thought, you know, if I could get a result against Middlesbrough, then a point won't be so bad against QPR. And then take it that we won't get out against Norwich, and then try and get a result against Stoke. Now I'm looking at it, it's got to be a win. It's really got to be a win against QPR for me. We've got Blackburn coming up, West Brom. What I don't want us to do is have to go to Sunderland on last game. I can see that happening. I can very much see that being a scenario. Wednesday having to go up there. When did we last get a good result up there? Well, you'll have to let me know. But in my mind, I can't remember us going up there and getting a great result. Hardly ever. But I can see it falling down to that scenario. I really can. All going into last game of the season. I won't want it to, but on the other end, after the start we had with Cisco, if you'd told me then, last game of the season, if Wednesday get 3 points to stay up, I'd have probably gone, yeah, alright, yeah. But it'd be nice to get a lot more points on board before then. The good news is Windass and Patterson back in training. You need 11 Pattersons for me. I know, fanboy, but 11 with that attitude, that's what I mean. 11 with that personality type, that's what you need on park.